Welcome in, guys, to Rover Sports, and we are here in the RDR studios, and this is fresh off of free agency. This might be our introductory episode here in studio. I'm here with Big Al Zafiri, and it's a pleasure to be here, Al, and thank you so much for hosting this show and having us here. It's a real radio environment, and I mean, what an exciting show to build off on. I mean, there's so much to talk about right now in the world of the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, Spence, the thing is to understand is with we always talked about free agency, but that legal tampering thing, it's already done by then. It's like getting your Christmas presents 3 days early.
Yeah, and knowing exactly what they are.
Now, it's about 99% that way, because we all saw how, like, when Frank Gore was supposed to come to the Eagles, and then, of course, he ended up going to
99%.
Yeah, to
Anthony Barr supposed to be the Jets.
Yeah, that can happen sometimes, but most of the time it's pretty much written in stone.
Yeah, I never remembered it being this early, like on Monday. I always remembered free agency being on Wednesday or Thursday, and all of the news would kind of flood in on Thursday. Mm-hmm. I think that there signings over the weekend, and you don't even know who's getting traded.
Well,
like D. Ford, for example, was on the Kansas City Chiefs. He gets traded to the 49ers, and I thought that D. Ford was like a free agent all along.
Well, here's the thing is, technically with legal tampering, they are not allowed to talk to the players until noon on Monday before technically God knows they have some workarounds. But that's when you start seeing the reports. Oh, well, the Eagles have been talking to this person, or the Giants have been talking to that person. Like, you will see that. And like you said, as an Eagles fan, I knew Deshaun Jackson was
possibly coming.
It was coming. Malik Jackson, you knew that was coming.
Yeah, on Monday,
a pair of jacks. You know what I mean? We knew we knew what we drew before we knew before it happened.
Right.
I mean, but that's what I'm saying. It's pretty much they confirm. I mean, even I think Deshaun was tweeting out goodbye to Tampa Bay before anything was written in stone.
Yeah, he was 2 hours. So this is what I want to know, okay? The Buffalo Bills, you know how they almost got Antonio Brown?
You mean the black hole of the NFL?
Or the Siberia of the NFL, Buffalo? Well, I think Buffalo's actually turning it around. I like Buffalo.
Okay.
So this is a Buffalo safe space.
Okay.
If you will. Why didn't Brandon Beane just text like Shady McCoy to text Antonio? Why can't you have a player of yours text Antonio Brown and say, would Brown play? Just have the players talk to the dang owners.
I don't know. Maybe I honestly, I don't. It's like this. Like, does the person, does an employee always go talk to the guy who runs the place? No, you usually go through the right channels. You got the managers above each other who have the people who have the direct ear normally at a normal, like a corporation. And an NFL team is a corporation. So I don't know. Maybe it's like something they don't do. Maybe only like the big names, like the quarterbacks, have the ear of the coach, the owner, and all that stuff.
Right. I get that. Well, I would talk to a player, have a leadership, council on defense.
I mean, it can't hurt. I mean, if you talk about baseball with Bryce Harper signing with the Phillies, the first thing he said in his press conference is, "We're gonna get Trout here." And then
he got fined, right?
Yeah, you get all the LA
parking ticket,
all the Angels fans crying in their cereal the next morning when they saw this.
Yeah,
because he's gonna steal them for us. Listen,
yeah, come on.
Here's my thing with that situation is, if he's going to come to Philly or any other team, he's going to go there on his own choice. It wasn't just because Bryce Harper said so. So if Bryce Harper was a big reason he came here, then you should have signed Bryce Harper the chance you had. So
you should have signed him to Anaheim.
Just because he's going to say, why wouldn't one of the greatest players playing baseball right now want one of the greatest players playing baseball on his team?
Right.
Why wouldn't he?
Right.
It's just it's just this.
Yeah, it's even more insulting to say the other thing.
Yeah,
like we're not interested in Trout.
Yeah, or no, or I don't want to comment on that. Yeah, duh.
You want to make this team into a winner.
Yeah,
Who wouldn't want him?
I want Trout on my team. Duh.
Who wouldn't want him?
Yeah.
You never hear players say that they don't like each other. And that brings me to my next point. We'll go right into my next point, which is Odell Beckham. I wasn't even planning on going here. But Odell Beckham, people said that all the teammates in New York loved Odell Beckham. But what I was going to say is the people that didn't love him, they're never gonna tell you. You're never going to find out the truth about Odell Beckham.
Well, if you kind of come back, like, all right, as an Eagles fan, I'll say it.
Yes.
Go back to the Carson Wentz thing. That article came out. And there was this whole thing about how maybe he was at some point not the most lovable character.
He was cocky.
Yeah, he had his moments. Which is, well, duh, he's a young quarterback with millions of dollars in his pocket. I'd be cocky too.
Well, he's North Dakota, he's North Dakota made.
And he even said, he goes, you know what? Everybody has me as this backwoodsy boy next door yokel who gets along with everybody. Guess what? I never said that. You did. Like he just came out and said it. Mm-hmm. So I mean that's kind of how it is now. With OBJ, it's a little different because he's gone. So, and here's my thing is, say for instance, because Eli is still the quarterback.
Yeah.
The one person you really don't bash verbally in the media is the quarterback, because that is usually a one-way ticket for most people to
out.
But
like Big Ben,
So for instance, one of the other receivers. If I sat there and bashed OBJ, I just look like a little crybaby. Or if I'm a lineman.
Who, the quarterback you're saying?
No, I'm saying like if I'm a player on the team and I'm just a receiver.
Well, you say Odell Beckham is really,
it's a shame I'm going to miss him and I'm going to move on. What do you gain by bashing him?
Yeah, you don't gain anything.
I mean,
but the fans that say that Odell was a saint in the locker room, they don't know what went on.
Yeah.
And that's why Dave Gettleman, you should have the trust, if you're a Giants fan, you should have the trust of the Shermer of Gettleman. And actually, Shermer and Gettleman were trying to get him out in the middle of the season, and Jay Glazer just said that the owners wouldn't allow it.
Yeah.
The owners wouldn't allow it because he brings in so much money. The kids all love him. But the New York Giants haven't done anything of any substantial note. And you as an Eagles fan, you hate the New York Giants. I bet. Are you actually a little bit worried that the Giants are going to start to become more serious again? Because with Odell Beckham, Beckham, you always had the antics. Like in that game, you watched that Eagles-Giants game. Odell walking off the field, remember, with the calf injury in the middle of the game?
I would tell you this much. Odell Beckham Jr.'s trade from the Giants to the Browns was the second biggest receiver thing that happened to the Eagles this week. Next to Deshaun Jackson coming back. That was the biggest thing, because now that we just get our speedster back, we lost a team we played twice, to a team we may not play at all during the year unless it comes down to a Super Bowl game.
To Cleveland?
Cleveland.
I actually think the Giants are going to be better, more explosive on offense, because
I think it's a huge rebuilding time for them.
When I disagree, because when the Giants had Brandon Marshall, Evan Ingram, when they drafted Evan Ingram, people said the Giants would be unstoppable on offense. Their offense with Odell, it's never popped. Tell me
why they're going to be explosive. Is it just one side? Is it explosively offense, explosive defense, or overall?
Well, I believe Eli will play a lot better now, because we actually have guys in the middle of the field that can block. Like we got a guy, Kevin Zeitler, now, who's a guard, and Will Hernandez, guard, Spencer Pulley, Jalapio, center.
Yeah.
You need those guys to block for Eli. He can't move around in the pocket. So the Giants are also getting another receiver in the draft.
Yeah.
They're going to be getting somebody else. And with Odell Beckham, like when you're a star receiver, your quarterback is actually worse because he doesn't go through progressions. He just locks on the one guy. True. So now we could start getting these other guys to run more routes and the camaraderie, the morale. Saquon Barkley also, it's going to be great for him.
Well, listen, and look how well Saquon put some crazy stats up this year.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Barkley fan. Was when he played for Penn State. It burned me the second that the Giants drafted him.
Yeah. What, on the or off the field did you like Barkley?
I liked him both ways. He just seemed like a good guy. He's a generational type player. There's not going to be many Saquon Barkleys coming out in the next 25 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can say that with pretty...
I guess it's the name Saquon, but it's also the way that he's able to be strong and cutting and breaking tackles. But it just goes
to show you, no matter how good he is, I mean, the Eagles put a pretty good spanking on the Giants this year. Let's call it for what it is, especially the first game.
The first game, yes.
And Saquon put, 2 touchdowns up, 200 yards? And
the first game was mostly garbage time, mostly screens.
But my point is you still have a running back who puts up a career day, and you get your ass handed to you. So that shows you that how important the quarterback situation is. And I know.
Well, he was terrible in that game. Yes,
and
now the offensive line is going the roll, and now expectations are very low on Eli Manning. it's not good to have such high expectations because the media will kill you.
Is it? I mean,
I love that expectations are low for the New York Giants.
But is it really that low? I mean, well,
this year you just called us rebuilders.
Okay, so then are you? You told me you're not. You're telling me you're going to be an explosive offense.
Me personally, I'm still holding out hope that the team can at least. I want to at least be. I want to be competitive.
This is a hopeful Spencer. This isn't your gut feeling. You're telling me you're hopeful that the Giants are going to be. That they're not going to be in a rebuilding stage. It's more of a. Well,
the Giants play the AFC East, so you play the Dolphins, the Bills, and. Dolphins, Bills, and Jets. You can win You can win those games. Mm-hmm. Then the Giants also finished dead last.
Last year that most people had their Giants games marked as a W. That's where they were right now. I mean, normally they're not like that low, like considered a W right away. But over the last couple of years, what makes you feel that you lost one of your biggest weapons that you're still going to be able to I mean,
the defense. Well, first of all, the draft was pretty decent that the Giants had.
Do you think the Giants, right now, not knowing what the schedule is, could be at least an 8-8 team?
Yes,
or more. Do you think it could be more?
I think that they are I think that they're 7-9, 8-8, 9-7.
Okay, I think.
What do you think?
I think 7-9 is the best hope.
You would shake my hand if they got to 8. You what if they got to 8-8? Would you be shocked?
I owe you a sandwich. I will buy you a sandwich.
I want more than that.
Oh, all right.
I'll bet a steak on that.
All right, a steak. We'll get a steak.
Right here.
There you go.
Right here.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, because now the distraction is gone, and Pat Shurmur, he can't have another terrible year, or he might be gone.
Yeah, but how does that help you? Here's my problem. Here's my thing is. My problem for you is I go back to, as a Giants fan, I go back to your ownership. I don't want to say it's as bad, but they're starting to sound like the Redskins. Okay? Dan Snyder's literally one of the worst.
We're not
owners.
jerks. We're not jerks like he is.
Yeah, he's just playing. Like, they just overspend. It's like, I think Washington in general just goes, we'll just buy. We're like, like when the Nationals picked up Worth for some ungodly amount of money. You know, they just seem to always spend too much on people. Landon Collins, there you go.
Well,
he would not get that anywhere else. I don't understand.
Yeah, they're paying him to his mid-30s.
Yeah, I don't get that. Not to say he's not a good player. Don't get me wrong.
The Redskins are not in a position to win. At least, that's the thing. The Case Keenum signing sums up Washington football.
Yeah.
Because you're getting a quarterback that has no chance to win, but he's also not going to suck. At least the RG3 trade was actually a good deal for one reason. Let me ask this question.
In the last 2 years, who had a better year? Case Keenum or Eli Manning?
Eli Manning. Well, Case played on the...
How many of them had a chance to go to the Super Bowl in the last 2 years?
Well, first of all, Case Keenum should have lost to the Saints.
Should have, could have. Right.
Who did the Vikings beat that year?
Who was in the playoffs in the last 2 years?
Who did the Vikings beat that year? That's a Vikings team. That's a Zimmer thing.
Yeah. But
what happened when Case went to an average team? The Broncos, he was terrible.
Well, listen,
terrible.
The Eagles won against the Falcons that year in one defensive play. It was down to the last second, and a ball that normally Julio Jones would catch any day of the week. Still Super Bowl champions.
Yeah, that was a bad throw.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, Nick Foles needed time to warm up that season.
Yeah, no,
he really did.
My point is, I understand you're a fan, and I can see it being the other way around. If I was a Giants fan and you're an Eagles fan, I'm sure I can sit on one side confidently talking
about Eli Manning.
Yeah,
you think I'm like a little blinded by Eli?
Yes, I think. No, I know you didn't want me to get into it. I'm getting into it.
Nah, I like it. It's fine.
Eli Manning has been done for years. I'm sorry, my friend. He won you guys.
Okay.
Listen, he won 2 Super Bowls for you, and arguably, I don't feel like he won the Super Bowls totally. He played a couple good quarters.
They rarely do.
We're not gonna get into that.
They rarely do.
But how long ago was that? 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay. So all right, fine. So year after that, 5 years later. Okay, 6 years later, 7 years later. Do you not start scratching your head, going, maybe? I mean, the guy, I've seen him just fall to the ground like a little scared baby. So he doesn't take a sack. He doesn't throw the ball away. He doesn't take a hit sometimes.
You just think the Giants can plug in anybody. You think the Giants are going to plug in a rookie and just be like Kansas City Chiefs?
No,
and
not at all.
Beckham could have stayed in that offense. Sam Darnold is horrible.
But what are you going to get with a 38-year-old scared quarterback?
First of all, Eli Manning is when you look at the league, you have Kirk Cousins, you have plenty of average guys in this NFL.
Trust me, there's plenty of overpaid.
By the way, you almost lost to Trubisky, Jared Goff. Mm-hmm. These are the good teams.
Trubisky had a good team, and that was more of a defensive game. Let's be honest.
Deshaun Watson's in the playoffs. He's very young. It's all young. These young quarterbacks.
Yeah, and listen,
you only have a few very good ones. So Eli Manning, I'm not going to tell you he's good, but I'm going to tell you he's pretty dang average.
He's not Drew Brees.
No.
He's not Tom Brady. He's 38 years old.
What's the benefit of letting him leave right now? There's no benefit to letting him leave.
$23 million. You could probably cut that in half and go get other young players and get them in. Like, I'm not saying that the next quarterback that they get has to be the future. Like, if they picked up Case Keenum, maybe they even, there was a lot of coverage that Nick Foles.
I'll tell you why Eli is here, because Eli Manning, first off, he does understand Shermer's offense, so he is going to get rid of the ball quickly. He's going to be smart. And if you're a head coach, you got to bank on an average older quarterback, because a young quarterback, if he fails, then Shermer is fired.
Actually, I think a young quarterback gives you more rope.
The Giants might. I think the Giants could release Eli, like you talked about. I don't know if I'd do that. I would get Kyler Murray.
Well, listen,
if I were I think the Giants are still going to get a quarterback. Maybe
if they get, well, listen, they have 2 first-round picks now, and they're in good positions for those picks. I mean, they're what, top 15, 16?
Yes.
2 first-round picks. That's a pretty big thing. So yeah, you can get that quarterback. Unless they're going to keep him around for one reason, I could agree with sort of, is to groom this young quarterback. I don't see Eli doing that. I'm sorry. I think I think Eli's a dick. I'm just calling out for what it is. I don't see him.
You think he's I think he's one of the most unselfish guys you ever meet. With Geno Smith, he supported Geno Smith when Geno Smith got to start. Eli Manning is the nicest athlete you'll ever meet in your life. He's done nothing wrong in his entire life. Odell Beckham's bullied him for years. He's been quiet. Ben McAdoo was a complete asshole to Eli Manning, and Eli said nothing. Listen, he is honestly the friendliest guy you'll ever meet in your life.
I don't think that's it. I think he's just not stupid. All right, so
you think he's stupid?
No, I said I think he's not stupid. Here's my thing is.
No, Eli Manning is not. You think he's spoiled Archie Manning, rich Southern boy.
No,
you do.
I think, no, but go back to when he came into the league. It started there.
Well, that was his dad. That was not him.
I'm not playing. I'm not.
That's the one instance. Give me another one. That's the only thing you really have on
his play shows you that the way he plays, the way he falls, he doesn't step in for something. Listen,
he's not very big.
I don't give a shit.
And he's an Iron Man. He's played every game. You don't want him getting hurt. You don't want him being reckless.
But there is times that there's a difference that you got to step. Take Nick Foles for a second. He had took some big hits this season and last season. Or last season, the season before, because he knew he had to get that throw off. Yeah. He knew he had to do something. Eli won't do that.
Nick Foles is huge. Nick Foles nearly 6'7". Eli Manning, though, if you go back to the younger days in the playoffs, Eli Manning got battered around by the 49ers. Even the throw to Tyree, the most famous play, he's scrambling out of his sack. So he's getting older. He's watching out for himself. He does give up sometimes.
And like I said, he's not going to – he gains – listen – the Geno Smith thing. Let's go back to that for a second.
Yeah, what about it?
What does he gain about blasting the Geno Smith situation? Because do you know what he knows? Because he's not. Knew that wasn't going to last. I'm not an Eli fan, but I knew Geno Smith was not taking his goddamn job.
It was great. Well, the problem is the Giants need to be a balanced team, and they never.
They've been off kilt for a while.
They've been off kilt, and it's not really Eli's. It's not really completely his fault.
No, and I'm not going to blame. Listen, I'm not sitting here saying. If they had a better quarterback, they'd be a better team.
And they don't even need the draft this year. If they don't get the quarterback, just keep building young pieces. Just acquire young pieces.
And like I said, my point is what I said earlier is I blame the system. I blame the ownership. The ownership all the way through that. I'm not blaming just Eli. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
Like you said earlier, if you don't have an O-line in front of you or you don't have some weapons or anything, there has been time he's had weapons. Or at one point it was a downgrade Brandon Marshall, but at one point he was a good receiver.
Those are not even the best weapons.
OBJ Ingram, the tight end Ingram came in. I mean,
but then you didn't have the line. I think it's all about the line, the
oh,
offensive line.
That game of football is won on the O and D line. Let's be honest. Your D line dominates, you can't get the ball off. Your game's over. Your O line dominates, D line can't get to you.
Like a Strahan. Yes. When he had Plex going to Akeem Nicks, he was at his best.
Yeah.
Like during that time.
Sure.
And he's always been a decent quarterback.
9 fingers and all.
That's why Giants fans, I think, really love getting into the debate so much, is because he's not like a lock like his brother, like a Peyton Manning, where he's just so undisputedly good.
Yeah, no.
And
you want let's talk about his brother for a second. He won a Super Bowl off the back of one of the best defenses in the last 20 years.
Yeah, correct.
He was duct taped together, and he limped himself way out. And all he was told, he wasn't even calling plays. All they said is, don't throw a pick. Don't do that.
Well, listen, he has timely plays. It still takes skill to navigate those waters in the playoffs like that.
Do we not forget
Tom Brady does it every year. What about that season?
That the Broncos looked like there was no chance of even going to the playoffs, let alone the Super Bowl. And
Osweiler?
Yeah, and Osweiler was starting over Peyton Manning.
I thought Peyton was getting time to recover.
Osweiler was the only one he's the only reason that they actually
No. I think they just won a couple of games.
Let me tell you something. That ring Osweiler earned by sucking. Seriously, he earned by being sucky.
Oh, what? So they didn't just roll with him?
Because they didn't roll with him and lose and tank the rest of the season. They put Peyton back in. He kind of warmed up a
I don't
little
know.
bit.
I thought Osweiler only played a couple of games.
Yeah.
I only think he played like 4.
Yeah,
so I don't think it was that big of a deal. I don't think he was that huge of a deal.
1/4 of a season.
He played okay. He played
4
okay.
games is a big portion of the season.
He played okay. So we talked about the Odell Beckham trade. This is Rover Sports here in RDR Studio. I have Big Al here. We're having fun talking about free agency. Let's talk about a topic that's unrelated here to really emotions, and that's the Oakland Raiders. And how do you think that? What do you think about Antonio Brown? They get this guard Trent Brown for a lot of money. Do you really think that John Gruden is building something here? Is Derek Carr going to be here? What do you think about Oakland like next year?
I think they walked into this season prior to that with a lot of questions. Like, nobody even know. Are you in a rebuild phase? Are you going to try to be competitive this year? Listen, no team's going to go out there and say, we're not going to win any games. We're not going to try to win. So we all know he's not going to say that. Right. But everything was pointing towards rebuild phase.
And that's not what Chucky wants.
And then you go do something like sign Antonio Brown like that. I mean, listen, they got him for a steal. I can't complain. I mean, third and a fifth round pick.
Right.
And, I mean,
I think it's brilliant.
Yeah. And I think he got paid less than he was going to get paid in Pittsburgh.
Well, the Steelers are on the hook. I think that Oakland is still going to be paying him more. But, yes, Oakland has so many picks, and the fact that they got him for that is fantastic. And that just goes to show you
how much of a problem the Steelers have right now. And I think that goes to show you how much of a – I think they had 3 big divas on that team with Bell, Brown, and Roethlisberger.
You think Big Ben?
And I think Big Ben's the biggest one of them all. And I can't believe they're riding and dying with him because, I mean, he's no youngster either.
I can believe it because he's a Hall of Fame lock. I mean, because he's brought that organization. And I still think he's playing at a high level. And I think the problem is with Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, but how many years?
Mike Tomlin, he should have benched Brown a long time ago.
I agree with you in a lot of ways. I think he should be the first fired.
Yeah, and he's got to get the quarterback under control, or the owner. The ownership was terrible.
Entire locker room.
It's kind of like the same thing with Beckham, where the coach and the ownership just needs to put this stuff to bed.
You know what? I like what you're doing here. Let's just kind of hit all the different teams, and we'll just say, do we feel like they're going to be competitive or not?
Okay.
Because I
like it.
I think the Steelers are going to be on a downgrade this year.
I don't think so.
You think they're
because now that the headaches are gone, they're undervalued like underdogs, and the Browns are getting all this hype.
But do you think it hurts them to be able to bring in a free agent or anything?
Well, the Steelers are always good at picking wide receivers. I mean, the Juju, Schuster, Santonio Holmes, Brown. They still
got weapons.
Vance McDonald, the Washington kid. They're going to find receivers.
And
they're very good at it.
If Big Ben can stay healthy.
I mean, wide receivers are found very...
No, but I'm saying, I think a big problem is Big Ben staying healthy.
Big Ben just is always play. I mean, he always can.
He's
can
an
play
Iron Man. I'll give him that.
Yes.
But I fear Tomlin.
And the
It's
offensive
their biggest
line.
problem.
The offensive line. The Steelers have at least made the playoffs before. At least they have the ownership. So they're undervalued. I think it's a great time to buy into Pittsburgh, actually.
Okay.
Because that's kind of the main
What's our
market is
next
all
team?
hitting them. Baltimore Ravens.
I do not believe in what's his name, LeVar Jackson.
Lamar.
Lamar.
Yeah.
LeVar Ball.
LeVar.
Anybody sounds like
Or
LeVar, I don't
Jackson.
believe in you.
Yeah, LeVar Ball.
Yeah.
Lamar.
I think he's going to be. I think teams are going to. They've already figured him out.
I think he's just terrible.
I don't think he's that great at all. And I can understand moving on from Flacco because I think he's, in a way like Eli, he's just done. He's done.
And Joe Flacco, he had every opportunity.
Yeah.
And he just didn't do it.
Yeah. I mean, listen, the guy had major back surgery. There's just
No, he's unemotional, too.
Yeah.
He's just so mediocre. Like, he doesn't show fire.
complacent.
Yes.
Well, I won a Super Bowl. I'm Joe Flacco, and I'm happy. That's what I think happened.
That is a perfect way to describe it.
Yeah, and there's nothing on that team that makes me feel.
It's apathetic.
Yeah, and there's nothing on that team that makes me feel like they're going to be.
Guess what?
Gangbusters
Their coach, John Harbaugh, the owner said we were thinking of firing him. Now, the defense was tremendous, but now they lose C.J. Mosley. They lost Zadarius
The
Smith.
fact that they squeaked into the playoffs probably gave him a little extra life.
Harbaugh?
Yeah.
I think that they're going to go because their defensive free agency, they lost everybody. They are going to be the worst team, and not only for next year. I think that the Ravens might be the worst team in the NFL, like 4-12 next year. They are going to be picking a new quarterback next year. Lamar Jackson is not going to last for an entire season. They are going to be the worst team in the NFL possibly next year, like 4-12.
Okay.
Disaster.
Okay.
Bombed out because Earl Thomas, too. This is a guy who said he was thinking of retiring. They paid him for 4 years. So, unbelievable. And then Cincinnati, we don't even need to talk about them. They're irrelevant. I think they're going to be terrible, right? So we handled the North. I'll tell you, let's think of the interesting. The NFC North, the Packers, I think, made some intelligent moves. Good signings.
Yeah.
They get Smith.
Nothing
Nothing
ground-shattering, but they looked.
Who else did the Packers get? I know that they got Smith, but
like I said, this is a big year for them because they have a new coach. It's all.
Yeah, they got a safety, Amos, nice and cheap.
Okay, what else?
Do you still think the Packers are good?
Yeah, well, listen, Aaron Rodgers on the field. As long as he stays healthy, he's irrelevant.
But they're not going to be spectacular, though, right?
They listen. As long as Aaron Rodgers is on that field, they can be. He is one of those quarterbacks who can make average guys look more than average. Let's just be honest.
Yes.
What else we got?
So
San Fran.
I think the Lions actually did get better.
Okay.
Lions got better. Okay, they got this guy from the Patriots, a great pass rusher.
Oh, there's a shock. Yeah.
They got all these Patriots.
Matt Patricia got somebody from the Patriots.
They also got a Justin Coleman, and the guy that I'm thinking of is Flowers, who I really think that their defense is going to be better. So they're a better team. What team you wanted to talk about? Go ahead. You pick the team now. The 49ers? Is that what you said? 49ers, I picked them to actually win the Super Bowl last year. This year they can actually do it.
Do you believe in Garoppolo based on a little small sample that we have?
Absolutely. Quick release, and also their head coach is fantastic.
Okay.
Shanahan, I'm all in on the 49ers.
Keep going.
All right, let's think of a
going.
controversial team.
Well, how about
Arizona?
How about the Chargers? How about the Chargers?
They're just boring.
Yeah?
Boring, and I don't really like
You
Rivers.
think any LA team's boring? I mean, there's another team that everybody thought could win the Super Bowl last year. I mean, think about it. If the Chargers and the Rams were playing each other in the Super Bowl, where do they have the parade? Is it the same place? Is it the same place no matter what?
You mean, is it in San Diego? Well, no one will show up.
They're the LA Chargers.
You could just have it on a corner somewhere.
They're the LA Chargers.
It doesn't even matter where they put the parade. No one. I thought you were going to say the Super Bowl would be half empty.
Oh, it would be totally empty. Well, let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
Are the Rams as good as they are this year, or better, or worse?
There's too much to do in LA, and that's why it's a boring franchise. The Rams, I mean, if they can't be any better, they honestly were terrific last year. Honestly, terrific.
3 points in the Super Bowl.
Yes. Their offense. I mean, Gurley was fine. Nick Foles beat the Rams real badly. The Eagles beat them real badly. They're going to be a little bit worse because they're losing offensive linemen.
Yeah.
Losing offensive linemen. Todd Gurley's a little bit hurt. I think the 49ers win that.
Is Sean McVay as good as they say he is? or has he just been having a good team
Oh,
around him?
I mean, he's his second year. He's a very good coach.
Okay.
Very
I'm
good
just
coach.
asking you. I'm asking Spencer.
You're asking me the questions.
All right, how about this? I'm going to come at you now. Hey, here we go.
Okay.
Dallas Cowboys. Both of us hate the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, you hate them more than
Here's
I
a
do.
team who
I don't hate them as
Here's
much.
a team who didn't make any moves, but didn't do anything else either so far in free agency. They let their shorthand receiver go, Cole Beasley, and they picked up their age-old Jason Witten just because he couldn't announce a game for his life depended on it.
Yeah, Jason Witten, yeah.
Yeah. What do you
You
think
hated Witten in the booth, did you?
Oh, my God. I think more than I hated him on the field.
Why? Because he's just robotic? Because he's just robotic?
He was horrible.
Not emotional enough?
I don't even know how to explain it. I had dental work that was more enjoyable than him.
Well, what did he say? Kicking a dead horse? He used, like, these analogies wrong.
Well, it's when he said to Cam Newton's, what I like about that Cam Newton's is yards after catch. I'm like, what? Listen, some guys say some stupid shit, but that's some stupid shit. So how about the Cowboys?
I'm
are
all right.
the Cowboys better or worse than they were last year?
I like Witten coming back because he's an old rival. It's kind of like Deshaun Jackson. As much as I hated Deshaun, like the rivalry's back. The Dallas Cowboys are still they're still light years. I think that they are light years better than the Eagles. I'm going to say that.
Okay.
Their defense is fantastic.
Even with Dak Prescott, do you think he's good enough?
Yeah, they
He's good enough to win
shouldn't
the Super
sign
Bowl?
Prescott. Listen, the playoffs last year, the guy was nails, even in the Rams.
Was he? Because I don't remember that because he played Seattle, and if it wasn't for their kicker going down, they probably would have lost that game.
Why? You bet they would have recovered the onside kick. He came back in the fourth quarter of that game.
No.
He was great.
There was at least 2 field goals had to be left on the field because they couldn't kick the ball.
He was good, Dak Prescott. Seattle didn't throw the damn ball.
They were 1 kicker away from losing that game.
How about the Seahawks not throwing the ball?
Well, who's he going to? I mean,
Russell Wilson didn't throw the ball.
Yeah, but I mean, listen, that team wasn't expecting to be much. Everybody thought that they were in a rebuild mode.
Correct.
The fact that they made the playoffs was beyond me.
Correct.
And then the Dallas Cowboys came in they were like a steamroller for a while.
The Cowboys?
Yeah.
They beat the Saints.
I mean, yeah, they beat the Saints. They got lucky against the Eagles.
They were getting
hot.
hot.
They were getting hot. I'm going to say get lucky because I'm still...
Get lucky.
That last game's in protest.
They were winning that whole game.
That last game was in protest.
What over... what? You couldn't get a stop. Cooper was burning the Eagles.
Well, I'm
also, the
Cowboys...
Cooper killed them both games.
That game would have never been in overtime if they held up that fumble on the kickoff.
Oh, in the first quarter?
Yeah, I'm still playing that.
Playing that back?
Yeah, I'm going to keep throwing that out.
All right. But listen, they should have been. They're a team that got to the second level of the playoffs. The Rams game, that was very frustrating. They couldn't stop the dang run.
Kansas City.
C.J. Anderson.
Better or worse?
The Cowboys are my Super Bowl pick right now. They might be my Super Bowl pick.
I thought the Niners were.
It'll be both of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's how definitive we're going
Okay.
Here. Kansas City... They let go of D Ford. I don't know about Spagnuolo.
Winston Justice.
It's about I'm going to give them a D plus C minus.
Okay. So you think they're going to be worse than they were this year, even if with Mahomes with another year with a year under his belt?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very safe. The only play if they get back to the AFC Championship, look at the Vikings. You don't get back there.
How about the Saints?
Boy, the Saints. They can't do anything. They're completely tied up in free agency.
Yeah.
So,
but I'm just saying.
Let me think. You have the Bucks. The Panthers aren't good. The Bucks are not going to be.
I hate
good.
Cam Newton. I hate his face. I do.
Do you hate the dab of Cam Newton?
I don't like him. I don't think he's as good as everybody says he is. He can be, but he is no different than OBJ was to you.
I understand.
He is an eye guy. He is not a team guy. He does not put that team first, and I just don't like Cam Newton.
I understand the antics of not liking him, but he's been so average, and he's been irrelevant that I only hate people that are threats like Tom Brady.
I think the Saints are the best team in that division because of that. Because the Falcons, I think, are going to be vanilla they were this year.
Yeah,
I don't see anything from Tampa Bay that's blowing my mind.
Well, the Falcons got hurt last year. I think they have a lot of talent there. Dan Quinn. I think the Falcons. I would not sleep on them.
on a hot seat this year.
I think Rivera, the Panthers, is gone, and then Tampa Bay. Too many moving parts for Bruce Arians. Yeah. The Falcons are actually a team to watch. Could win that division.
I don't know.
I
don't know how Matty Ice is anymore. He's Matty Steam.
Every single game when he plays the Eagles is a carbon copy.
I think he is still stuck the 10 minutes after that loss at the Super Bowl to the Pats. I think his brain has been there and has not come back since. The way he plays,
like he can't get it done.
The way that team plays, the only good player they have is not the only good player. Let me rephrase.
That was almost like they rigged that Super Bowl loss. It was incredible.
Oh my God.
How many wrong things just happened, and it's a meltdown. Then they did not do anything about it.
Yeah, no, I get it. Got a couple, 5 minutes.
Yeah, we got a couple of minutes.
All right, so we covered that whole division pretty quickly because it was pretty straightforward. We covered our division.
Yeah, we covered the NFC East. Well, the Redskins, I think, are a complete
East,
joke.
you can go there too because I don't think Buffalo's going to be relevant. I just really don't.
I do think so.
They might be a tad better, but I don't see. I think the Dolphins went down and not up.
Of course, I think the Dolphins. They admittedly are tanking.
Who's their quarterback?
Tanking. I think they're gonna pick one next year or something.
Okay.
Yes.
The
Jets did pick up Mosley. They did pick up Bell. But I hate Sam Darnold. I think he's terrible.
Okay.
Sam Darnold. I think the Allen kid's better.
I think this is gonna be a very
a
defining year for Darnold in the sense that it's the second year. You're gonna either see a lot of progress or downgraded him, and I have a feeling he might be better than you think. I'm not saying I believe in Darnell. I just think he might be better than you think.
How about this, team?
And I think
How about this?
You guys passed up on him.
Do you think Baker Mayfield is going to be incredible?
My jury's still out on Baker. People are on that Baker Mayfield train and driving it all the way down the street. I don't know. I'm just like right now. I don't know if I like it or not. I tasted the cake. The cake's good, but I'm not saying I'm in love with it. Would I order it again? I don't know yet. I don't know. So that's how I put.
But now Odell Beckham could ruin Baker Mayfield. Like you saw Hard Knocks with Jarvis Landry acting. He was acting crazy.
And with those two together, it could be really dangerous. They were like buddies in college.
And that owner, a new head coach, Freddie Kitchens, all of that together.
But they also put themselves in a position to be very relevant, even more relevant than they were last year.
Yeah, they are going to be relevant in the public eye on prime time.
Cincinnati,
absolutely.
I think, is hot garbage.
Yes. Now, do you like, speaking of Baker Mayfield, what do you think of Colin Cowherd's show? Because you know Baker and Colin Cowherd.
Who?
You don't even watch him?
He's an idiot.
You don't even watch him?
I can't.
You probably don't like anybody.
No. There's certain people I like, but I can't stand him. He is watch this. This guy's going to suck. The guy doesn't suck. I told you to keep your eye on him because he may not suck. He is that typical guy who knows, no, this is good. These guys are better. Look at this little list I get to make. I have the top 10 quarterbacks.
Well, he always talks about a divorce. Back when you're 40 years old and you get a divorce.
Yeah.
It's like an athlete. It's like he does divorce analogies. I actually find him entertaining, though. I'm in on
I disagree with him about 90% of the time. And he's an idiot.
Right, well, he hates Philadelphia.
And it's obvious. You know,
he hates Philly.
And I think Stephen A. Smith's trying to get Philly to fall back in love with him. After that little list he did at the Cowboys game right before when they lost
he does hate the Cowboys.
Yeah.
And he's in on the process. He loves Sixers.
Yeah, so, he's a Philly guy. He started in Philly.
The thing is about Stephen A., though, is I really can't knock these guys because they're all like $5 million, $6 million. Like, I wish I was these guys. And Stephen, at least, is very entertaining.
I'm not going to go there. He just yells. I'm Stephen A. Smith.
Mm-hmm.
I am very deliberate with my words.
Mm-hmm.
And what I do is I just think to make my points better is talk louder.
Yeah. He says so many. What words?
He says some stupid thing.
He says just his vocabulary is actually good. I think he must spend time on the thesaurus.
All I hear from him is blah blah blah. LeBron, New York, LeBron, New York.
In the face, LeBron.
Yeah.
LeBron James, he's playing no defense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I still, Stephen A. Smith.
Hot garbage.
We got to talk for a minute about this week. We finally got college basketball revving up here, the conference tournaments.
Madness.
Yeah. I am, next Thursday and Friday, I love those days of March Madness. I really do.
Oh, yeah. Do you want a funny true statement, though? You know the biggest time for men to get vasectomies is in March. Because you have to you have to lay it on the couch for a week.
You're out.
people are out. They figure they schedule it in March so they can just lay there and watch March Madness football.
What is it? Yeah, a vasectomy. I mean, what is even that? Cutting off your
Making sure you never have little kids again.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not cutting it complete. It's not going Caitlyn Jenner, is it?
No, we're not turning it into an innie.
Yeah. Sounds like a great idea.
Yeah. Well, that's because it's about a week.
Let's do half vasectomies every single March because you want to get in next year too.
Yeah, well.
I hated being in school. March Madness is on. That just it really upsets me. And then I would not even like if the teacher would show March Madness.
Yeah.
Because then I would rather not even be here at all.
Yeah.
It's like the day before Thanksgiving.
I'm older than you, so I was back when they had like the little radios with the earbuds. I would slip them up my sleeve, and then just do one of these.
And wear the hood.
And
wear the hoodie.
No. You slip them up the sleeve.
Oh my!
And then you lay here like this. And you listen on the radio.
And other people were doing it.
Oh, there's like 8 people doing the same exact thing. You can tell, and then you hear the occasional, So yeah.
On the headphones.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. One whole episode should all be about, the cell phone era and you grew up with phone, just the main phone in the kitchen.
Yeah, well, a little bit.
Just like Seinfeld. But anyway, that was a lot of fun. We're talking here with Al Zafiri. And Al, I want to thank you so much for being on the show. Usually Sports Doc will be here. I'll invite some guests onto the show.
True.
But this was a free agent edition of the show, talking Odell, talking about all these free agent destinations and locations, everything around the NFL. And this is Spencer Grossinger, Rover Sports. Everybody, thank you so much for stopping.